All right, this is host Jonathan Ragus, and we're here with Jeff Porrini. Say hi, Jeff.
Hi, everybody.
We're at the Keswick Coffee House in Glenside, Pennsylvania, and we're sitting with somebody we were supposed to have 2 times in a row now, and unfortunately it didn't work out.
You know what? It happened today. We finally did it.
We finally did it, but the great thing is that we're doing it face-to-face, and joining us right now is musician Aaron Paul. Aaron, how you doing, man?
Hey, how are you?
We're doing great. It's great to meet you.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome stuff. So we're going to just jump into it. We're going to ask you a few questions because time is a ticking, and we have to be at the Keswick Theater in just a little bit.
Showtime, right?
Showtime. All right, so you're flying high with your new dance pop album, Erotic. Take us into this album, and what can listeners expect from you on this album?
What they can expect from the diversity. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is a pop dance album, and the reason why it's called Erotic is electronic music.
Yep.
And I wanted this album to incorporate all forms of electronic music, whether it's trance, whether it's house, whether it's, all the different kind of genres of dance, sub-genres of dance, and all throw it into one big pot. Stir it around a bit and add some little bit of erotica in there too, the lyrics and stuff.
Yeah.
To make it a bit sexy at the same time, you
Yeah.
know? Even though there are those tracks on those genres on there, there are your regular pop. I've got like a rock thing on there. I've got R&B. So I wanted to show people what I can do. Because unfortunately, when you're in this business as an artist, especially in the mainstream sense, you're pigeonholed.
Yeah.
If this is what you do, and they want you to stay there. Being an independent artist, you can do whatever you want to do. You've got no one to answer to, and the public decides what they pick and choose.
Absolutely.
They want. Not just dictated by a label or a machine. So I wanted to show that I can do this, and I can do that because I grew up with all types of music. Yeah. My parents, I come from biracial parents. My mum is white, my dad is black. We played everything from Patsy Cline to reggae, roots reggae, to soul. So I grew up with all music inside me. Yeah. And I don't just want to limit myself to one thing. I get it, and you don't want to confuse the public too.
Definitely.
Because they're used to a certain style or a successful
one stage genre.
Yeah, exactly, right. But I just want to show that I can do I'm a multi-faceted kind of artist.
So pretty much there's so many different influences.
Absolutely.
In this album,
and I wanted to incorporate that.
Great. We heard some of the songs, and it's definitely a lot of influences we can hear. We can definitely hear.
And then if it got to the stage where it's like, okay, 10 tracks in, 11 tracks in. And I went out to up to like 18 tracks. I just couldn't turn tracks down. I was having such a ball making this album. And it was also the first time I was actually recording independent on my own without like another person controlling the board or controlling the mic. I would wake up in the morning. I mean, I kind of built a studio in my mum's basement. Okay. And I would run out of bed, my boxer shorts, and literally just stand in front of the mic, put the track on, because big producers send me tracks all the time, and I would pick which works, and I would just run the track and just sing. I wouldn't even write down lyrics, and I usually would do that. I would have the song typed out in front of me beforehand, spend a few days writing the lyrics. This time, I think into the second song in, I was recording cold, straight. So what you're hearing on probably 99% of the album is that standing in front of the mic and just singing whatever came to my head. And I've never been able to do that before. Yeah. So I grew, as an artist. And I never thought I was capable of it.
Do you think being that free to make those decisions makes this your best music yet?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Because I think, when you're in a session with another person, another ear, another opinion, you're going to incorporate. Or they might say, "Oh, that doesn't sound right. Don't put that lyric in," and then you kind of kick yourself and like, "I should have put that in there," because that's me.
Yeah, especially if they're telling you to take it out.
Absolutely, right. Yeah. Or something doesn't make the final cut. So having that complete control. So I was having a party. I swear to God, some of the things I was coming up with and laying it down, and I would literally look to the heavens and like, "Wow, feed me." And I'm able to where did this come from? Yeah. I didn't think I was capable of that before, and it's happening. And I'm able to put that on a record that I can be proud of. Yeah. And it's totally Aaron Paul.
That's amazing. So talking about how you're able to do this yourself, we all know you were part of a boy band.
Yep.
Worlds Apart.
Yep.
In the 90s. So with what you just said, do you miss being a part of a group, or is pretty much going solo the way to go?
I mean, okay, there are good and bad sides.
Yeah.
The good thing is you have 4 other guys to reflect the bullshit, the crap.
Yeah.
You know, and things that goes on.
You could say whatever's on
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of attitudes, and things change, and things go wrong. When you've got 5 guys reflecting all that, it's a unit and it's stronger.
Yeah.
When it's just one person, now it's me. I've got to take all that on myself, and that's the only downside. Okay. I'm taking on, because I'm in charge of everything I'm doing, so I'm dealing with everybody.
Yeah.
To the choreographers, to the remixers, to the photographers, to the I'm doing everything.
Yeah.
Guys like us.
Right. So so when you're dealing with all that, you're taking on everything. And it's all on you at the end of the day. And people don't realise when I walk away from you guys, I've got to deal with some more stuff over here.
Yeah.
And people don't see that part.
Yeah.
They just think, oh, you're having a great life, which it is. I'm doing what I love to do.
Yeah.
But with that comes sacrifice and issues and problems. Yeah. Back to your question again about the am I enjoying it? It was always the plan to be a solo artist.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was a manufactured group that was Worlds Apart. Simon Cowell auditioned people around the country.
Yeah.
And even then, when I was approached with the project, do I really want to be in a group? No. That wasn't my vision.
So what drove you to become a part of Worlds Apart? Was it because thinking maybe
it was a stepping stone.
A launching pad, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when they said, "Oh, do you want to be in a boy band?" My initial reaction was like, "Oh no."
Telling me to stuck with this guy right now.
Yeah, there you go.
But do I do it? At age 17, 18 years old, do I turn down a major record deal with Arista Records?
Yeah, that's tough.
And they said, are you going to walk away from this? Well, and I could have said no, and never been heard of and found.
Do you regret taking it, or
no?
or is it
absolutely? I'm glad I took it.
Okay,
of course.
Yeah.
The best, the experiences I had, and the journey, and I mean, what 18-year-old could say they performed in certain places and been on TV, had 200 screaming girls outside your door, 24 hours. I mean, literally, it was that intense. So and I got to meet some wonderful people.
Yeah,
it's great adventures and great shows. And it's made me who I am today.
That's
But I always knew that I was more than just this.
Yeah.
Like I said, before they came to me and approached me.
Yeah.
That was it.
Well, let's jump over to something real quick here, and I have to ask you about this because you just mentioned the 200 girls.
Okay.
You were worried that coming out as gay was pretty much going to kind of ruin your career.
No, actually.
No?
Not at all.
Okay.
I mean, at that time, in the Worlds Apart, you're not going to, when you've got a record company investing, millions of dollars to launch a project. At that time in the early 90s, you're not going to have a guy turn and say, it was being marketed to screaming girls. Oh, I'm gay. It's not going to work. It'd just be a waste of time. It took a journey for me to get to the comfortability that I am now. But through the years and years, you go through stages and progress, and your family starts to know, and your friends start to know, and you start to be comfortable. What I wasn't ready for, am I comfortable in the music business to be an artist that was of a different sexual preference.
Yes. Yeah.
And when I did this project, the Raw album, the album for this one, I said, you know what, I'm going to do it my way, and whoever doesn't like it, they have to listen to it, and I'm going to embrace every part of me. And it was the first time on record I kind of put the idea of who I was. Yeah. And the song that was very successful on that album was I Don't Care, which became a Pride anthem for 2016. And I nearly never wrote that song. The guy sent me the track. They said, you need an anthem for the album. Because you're singing your regular pop stuff, you need a bit of a message. So they sent me this track, and I came up with the lyric, I Don't Care. And I was, singing it in my house, and I said, am I ready for a project like this?
Yeah. That's going to be... It's going to be your publicist getting ready to go next door. So what we're going to do is we're going to break for a quick commercial, and then we'll get right back to it. All right, and we're back here at the Stoop. I would like to say we're back at the Keswick Coffee House, but we're not. This is actually a couple of weeks later after the show. Everybody just got busy. We had a great time at the Adamant Glam Skanks concert, and meeting new people. And of course, Aaron was off doing his stuff, and then we went off doing our stuff. So here we are connected once again with Aaron.
Here we are, finally.
A few weeks later.
We're back on track.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
I'm good. It's under a snowy day here in New York City, so I'm kind of keeping warm in the house.
Absolutely. Yeah, same here in Philadelphia. So the last time we were together, we were talking about if you were worried when you came out as gay, if it would ruin your career, because we read that, and you said no, you really weren't. So let's let's get back into that. When you came out, how was all of that for you? Were you actually worried that it was going to ruin your career, or was that just some stuff floating around?
Well, in the past, I've always been very private, obviously with my sexuality, and I never kind of fused the two, the career and the private life. And those that are near and dear to me, family and friends who know me very well, I mean, they've known for years, and I've been very open who I am and what I like, but never on a public level, and when it turns to my music. And it was, I think, down to the fear, maybe, that, because being in a boy band and having a lot of, grown-up girl fans now married with kids, are they going to be able to, respond to me in the same way as they had in the past? But then, I've been on my own journey to get where I've got, where I am now, and being who I am and accepting who I am. So it was like one of those things. Does it really matter? It should come down to the music, and obviously the times have changed. Things are more accepted now, and you see a lot of alternative lifestyles in the media, and it's a different day to how it was back when I was in the boy band.
Absolutely.
That was a no-no, And also with my culture, too. I'm half Jamaican. And the Jamaican culture is very anti-gay or whatever you want to call it. And having to deal with that aspect of my life, too, being part of that, being half of that, of my culture, will they accept me for who I am? But, I'm grown now, and I think, I pay my own bills and I don't really care. And that's how that song came about. I don't care, but obviously back in the day, it would have been an issue, yes. But now I don't think it is.
Yeah. Well,
and everyone's been very supportive, and it's actually blown the box wide open in America for me now.
Well,
by being truthful.
Do you think being truthful and coming out and who you are, do you think that actually helped you in the way that it opened you up to a different fan base?
Absolutely. I think people like the truth.
Yes.
And obviously, they'll like the visuals, they'll like the music. But if they see some truth that's embedded in there, I think people respond to that. And I think I've been very fortunate that people from all walks of life, it doesn't matter, where you are, gender-wise or culture-wise, I've been, people have embraced me, and which is surprising. I have to admit to you, it has been surprising. But they have. And I think it's because people see an authentic truth in me. And like I said, I'm not afraid anymore, and I'm not going to, be quiet or keep under wraps. I mean, some things I will, some things I won't. But I know who I am, and I accept who I am, and those that are near and dear to me love me. And people see the truth when they look at my work. I think that's what's definitely helped.
Well, that's great. Well, listen, thank you for, doing that, coming out and being who you are, because I feel that everybody needs to be who they are, and they shouldn't have to hide who they are. And it's great that you did it, because I'm hoping by people like you doing it, people who are in the media and have some spotlight on them, that it'll help other people do the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, people have their own journey to take, and they'll know when they're ready to to admit or put out publicly or come out. It's an individual basis, and just mine just happens to be now.
Yeah.
And I encourage people. Yes, they should live in their truth, absolutely, but do it when it feels right for you.
Definitely. But do you think let's say for example, Lance Bass, when he came out as gay, do you think that by Lance Bass doing that it gives strength to fans of his that are also hiding the fact that they're gay? Do you think that it gives the strength to do that?
Of course, because when you are on a platform, when you do have a platform, you're inspiring a ton of people at one time.
Yeah.
And each and every one of those people are going through their own individual struggles or journey in their life, and they're looking at you as a way, as a beacon of light for acceptance of themselves. So absolutely, you inspire many, and I get messages every day. And once again, from across the spectrum "Oh my God, I love your song, I Don't Care. It really spoke to me. I've been obese for the last, 10 years. Or I'm a gay man for the last 50 years, and the lyrics to your song really spoke to me." I remember actually in Philly, I did doing a show down there, and I sang the song "I Don't Care," and this woman came up to me afterwards. She was an older lady. She was probably in her, maybe 60s, and she said, "Your song and your speech brought me to tears." And she had tears coming down her face.
That's amazing.
She's in front of me, and she was a lesbian woman, and she'd been a lesbian for many, many years. And she said, it was so hard for her in her time, when she was in her prime, to be who she was. And then she heard the lyrics to my song and was like, "Oh my God, that's me. She's speaking about me." And I remember the struggle and the journey that I went through. And there he is, this, pop star who's singing this song that's touching me. And I was moved by her, just to see her the way she was. And she said, thank you for this. And I was like, wow, that I made a difference or touched somebody that meant, from their own experience of their own journey, they were able to, feed from that and get something out of it. And that's what I wanted with that song when I did it. There was that little part of me that was afraid, that we just spoke about it. But then there was that little voice that said, "You know what? You're going to touch so many people with the lyrics of this song, and you're going to change some lives." And that's positive. I believe in being positive and doing what's best for people.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful to have such an impact on people, not only in your music, but with your personal life as well.
Yeah, and as a kid, you have dreams of being an artist or a famous pop star. I would never in my wildest dreams would I ever believe that a song that I would write would touch people in that way. I mean, the song went on to become an LGBT anthem 2 years ago. I never in my wildest dreams would I ever believe I was capable of writing a song that could reach that kind of magnitude and have that kind of impact. But here, and at the end of the day, and it's a fact there. So it's very humbling, very humbling. When I look at, the past big major legends, Freddie Mercury and John, I mean, those are big careers.
Yes.
And some of their songs have made major impact on humanity. And then to sing, there's little me from London, I can write a song that had the same kind of effect on people or touch them in that way. And that's very humbling.
Definitely. That's amazing. So let's dive a little bit deeper into your career as a musician. Let's talk about the Simon Cowell factor, because I know Simon Cowell kind of discovered you many years ago. Bring us into that and what happened there.
Okay, at that time, I was in my probably late teens, and I was performing all around the UK in various clubs, trying to kind of, get noticed or signed or whatever was going to, whatever it's going to be. And then Arista Records approached me. Well, they approached somebody who ran one of the nightclubs, and said they're looking for a guy who could sing and dance and, had a certain look or whatever. So he obviously, my name sprung into mind. He brought me over to meet Simon and the management, and they said, would you be interested in doing this? And at that time, I was like, a boy band? Hell no. No way. Because, I kind of saw my path on a different direction at that time.
Yeah.
But, and then there was, they could audition me and, find out if I could sing live, if I could sing in the studio, if the producers would like me, can I do choreography? And I kind of passed every test as it kind of was thrown at me. I remember there was the producers actually for the first record, they were 50-50. We don't know if he's the one. But I know that Simon Cowell was like, yes, he is the one. So he really championed me for being in that group. And we had a fabulous relationship. I mean, he's one of my greatest teachers. I learned everything I've learned musically, probably, and business-wise, and marketing is from Simon Cowell. He was the best teacher I ever had.
Amazing.
Better than my own school teachers,
Yeah. Well, because music was my passion in the music business. Definitely. Absolutely.
The age of 11, I was reading, music industry books, studying inside out, contracts, promotion, every aspect of the industry, and it's a lot. It's a lot, especially as a kid. you know, at 13 years old, I was booking my own band.
Mm-hmm.
You know, adults. I had a 5-piece band, real musicians. And they were like, you know, 10 years older than me. And I was only 11 years old, 12 years old, booking, you know, gigs around the UK and London. So, and then I obviously went on to, you know, get signed by Arista Records, and sitting and watching from Simon, you know, he taught me how, what's a good mix, you know, how does it sound when it's on the radio, what to bring up, what to take out. You know, he was the best teacher for that, and I still use a lot of those tools today with my stuff, especially being an independent artist.
That's amazing. That's really cool. Now, when you see Simon on TV, you know, doing the American Idols and, you know, all the shows that he does, how does that make you feel when you see, like, oh, well, you know, there goes my teacher?
Well, I kind of look at it like, you know, Simon went on to be the biggest star out of all of us.
Yeah.
No, but it is, you know, but I still see Simon, of my memories of him, you know, driving down, you know, on the highway from studio to studio at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then, you know, and him just feeding me information and telling me, you know, the pros and cons of this industry and what to look out for. So that's how I remember him.
Yeah.
And obviously people see the nasty Simon, and what you do see on TV is what he is about. But I didn't have that relationship with him. He was always very, very nice to me. Mm-hmm. You know, we never kind of had any conflicting disagreements. I just remember one situation where I remember going into the office, and he said, "Guys, I've got your the best idea for your biggest hit. It's going to be huge all around the world." And we're like, "Okay, what is it, Simon?" And he said, "We're going to put a monkey in your video." And I said, "You've got to be kidding me, Simon." He goes, trust me, guys, it's going to be your biggest hit. MTV will play everywhere."
Yeah.
And I said, "Simon, please, you're going to put me with a monkey in our music video." He said, trust me. And I begged and pleaded. I begged us, "Please, Simon, don't do this. And you know what, Jonathan, he was right. It was our biggest hit.
That's amazing.
That summer. You know, and it just, he's very, very good at making people follow something.
Yeah.
And obviously giving birth to the whole American Idol concept, which started with my group. You know, look what it became. You know, it's a worldwide sensation. You know, it's still going in certain countries to today.
Yeah.
You know,
that's amazing.
And it's a really simple formula. It's been going on for years. Back in the Motown days, they were doing it, auditioning people and putting them together and kind of putting them through the machine.
Absolutely,
and spitting them out one by one. It's been going on for generations. He just found a way to, you know, make it work in the current times, especially with reality TV now.
Yeah.
It's the perfect vehicle, you know. I don't know now, if I was a young artist now starting out, I don't know if I would have the guts or the courage to go through what they're going through when I see them performing on the shows.
Yeah, it's definitely a different time.
Yeah, different times. I do like the fact that, you know, in my generation, you did have to do your graft work. You did go on the road, you know, in the small little dive bars or the clubs, you know, dealing with all the crap, because it makes you solid as a performer. You can kind of go, you know, get through the weather, whatever's thrown at you in a performance. And I do see a lot of the artists, the younger ones now that are doing the whole reality thing, they lose out on that education there. Mm-hmm. You know, they're just like, okay, you win a reality show, you're popular, and then you put out a record, but then you go on stage, you don't know what to do. You know, or the microphone gives out, or the sound is not working. What do these young artists do? They die of death up there.
No.
You know?
No. It's definitely there's just a whole different generation of people now.
It's a generation, exactly. It's a generation. Yeah. And I get it, you know, and it is what it is. I just don't know if I'd like to go through it.
Yeah.
Because I also believe that, you know, music is individual and unique to the artist. You know, I'm going to go on a reality show and sing a country song, and that's not who I am. I've got to compete with someone else who's a killer country singer.
Yeah.
It's not fair. I don't think that's fair.
No, it's not fair. No, absolutely not.
No. But it comes down to more of a popularity contest, you know?
Yeah. Well, let's flip it from one celebrity to another. We talked about this at the Coffee House a few weeks back, and I was really interested in, you know, hearing the whole story they had to say about it. You had the privilege to meet the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Bring us into it and tell us what it was like to meet such a legendary icon. And also, we heard that later down the line, MJ gave you a job of some sort. So bring us into all of this.
Well, I'm the world's biggest Michael Jackson fan. I mean, that's what really started it for me. I think once I saw Thriller, I kind of said, that's why I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So I remember being, I must have been about 14, 15, going to school, and Michael Jackson had come in, to the UK for his Bad tour, which was a huge tour at that time.
Oh yeah.
And this is like, I think it's like the 80s. I think like 87. I think 88. And so Aaron decides he's going to skip school now, and literally I spent 2 months literally camped outside Michael Jackson's hotel for the whole summer. And I had half the school down there with me.
That's funny.
I would come back and say, oh my God, I saw Michael Jackson. And I remember one particular day, he came out and he got into his car and all the fans are chasing the car. And I happened to go down a little side street to catch the car where it stopped in traffic. So it stopped in traffic, and Michael Jackson, he winds down his window and takes his hand and, shakes my hand. And I'm like, oh my God, I love you, Michael, I love you, Michael. But, remember, I'm also very young at this time. I'm like 15. So I'm not encouraging people to do that now, but, that was then.
Yeah.
But later on, when I was in Worlds Apart, the group became the official spokes group or ambassadors for the Heal the World Foundation in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously that was, a great treat for me, because I'm getting to work with, be part of Michael Jackson's whole thing and be close to him in some kind of way. But I remember turning 21, I had this huge celebrity party in London, and one of the organizers of the Heal the World Foundation, she was trying to get Michael to come to my party. Obviously that couldn't happen.
Yeah.
So I got the next best thing, and he basically sent me a huge birthday cake and a birthday card that said, I love you, Aaron, and happy birthday. So that was a real nice treat, and I still have that for last today, yeah. But back in those days, I mean, I think in those 2 months, I must have saw him many, many times. That's amazing.
That's amazing that you had that, just to be around somebody of his stature.
But you know what?
Amazing.
I mean, at that time, I was in a fan capacity. You got 200 fans outside all competing to get a glimpse of him. Recently, last year, I got the pleasure of actually meeting his brother, Tito Jackson, here in New York.
Yeah.
And that was on a one-on-one basis. I went in as a peer, and I mean, obviously, I love all the Jacksons, and that was actually one of my highlights so far, to actually sit in a room and talk to a member of the Jackson family as a peer, and him giving words of advice and appreciating my music and what I'm about, what I'm doing on this level. Yeah, so that was a real special treat, and something I'll always remember.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's something that's going to stay with you forever, man. Wow.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And look, it's a different position. When you're a fan, it's a different, you approach people different, But coming in as a peer or as a fellow artist to a legendary artist as him, and him acknowledging you, that's definitely a special feeling.
Awesome stuff. So let's talk about another celebrity now, and we're not going to talk about this person because I don't know if you've ever met him before, but when we tell people that we're going to hang out and we're going to interview Aaron Paul on our show, people automatically think of the actor from Breaking Bad.
Oh, the actor.
Yeah. They automatically think, has that ever happened to you already? Because I can't tell you how many times people have said, oh my God, you got Jesse from Breaking Bad? And we're like, no, this is pop star Aaron Paul, totally different.
Right. It's so funny because I think it was back in September. It was Fashion Week here in New York City, and I attended some of the red carpet events.
Yeah.
So the first big one I show up for, I'm not going to mention the magazine, but so I'm like, hi, I'm Aaron Paul, and it's my name on the list, and and the little publicist, I think she looked at me and she said, oh, we're expecting Aaron Paul, the actor, not you. and I'm all dressed up, ready to hit the red carpet, I've got all my paperwork, I'm ready to go,
Yeah.
And she looked at me and said, we were expecting Aaron Paul.
Oh my God.
You can imagine how I felt after that. But I demanded, what, I've come all this way, I'm dressed up, I've got my paperwork, please let me on the carpet.
Yeah.
And then eventually they did, and we had a ball. But yes, it has been a problem sometimes, and then sometimes it's been a plus. You know, so I get so people that are tapping into him are tapping into me, you know, accidentally. And so, hold on here, what's going on here? This is good, you know. But
That's hilarious.
I'm sure he's sick of me. I can't wait till the day when we actually meet in person.
Oh, that'd be great.
Happens. Yeah.
Two Aaron Pauls. You know, you have to take a picture of that one, man. You have to make that. That's a big deal. So every time we talk about you to anybody, we say pop star Aaron Paul. Now we don't just say Aaron Paul because. Right.
People say to me, "Oh, we can't find you. We tried to Google you or search for you, and we only find the actor. So we have to put Aaron Paul music. That's the way. That's why I pop up. Unfortunately, I'm not that big of a star yet, but I do claim, and I will tell him in person when I do meet him, that I had Aaron Paul first. Right? That name was developed in 1993 when I was with Simon Cowell and Arista. Because my last name is spelled Poole, my legal name. But there was when I tell people that, it gets confused and people don't know how to spell it, and the record company was worried about people not going to get my name right. So we changed it to Aaron Paul, Paul, in 1993. So I officially got that title way before him.
Yeah, so you have rights to it. So Aaron Paul, the actor, needs to change his name now.
He can have it, though. It's fine. And I'm good.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great stuff. So with Electric Erotic out, your fans are still going nuts and dancing to it. What's next for you after all of this? Are you going to be working on a new album?
Well,
what's going on? Tell the fans.
We've got the next single coming out, Every Life Matters, which is another kind of anthemic kind of message song, which was born, out of the recent tragedy in Florida at the nightclub. And everyone kept saying to me, "Are you going to have another I Don't Care song?" And I'm like, no. And then that unfortunate incident happened, and I was inspired to write this new song, Every Life Matters. So that's the next single. We've got the video coming out, and I think the single comes out in April. And then we start the tour, and we're calling it the Every Life Matters Tour. I hit the East Coast, from Boston way down to, Florida. And, I do a lot of the clubs and events, some of the prides that are going on. And, and we're adding dates as we go along. So that's what's next. And then I've got a couple of other little projects, little smaller projects. I'm doing like an 80s dance album, a remake album.
Oh, nice.
So I'm going to do some of my favorite songs that I've always wanted to do from when I was a kid, and that my dad used to play. And turning them to kind of Aaron Paul style, and 2017. So I've got that little project brewing, and I've literally started on that already. And some other little stuff, and I really want to do a lot of feature stuff, and that's coming in too, a lot of like DJ featuring Aaron Paul. But that's always been, when I got into dance music, I want to be the number one artist on dance music, features. And that's starting to trickle in now. So expect a lot of features coming through.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And as well as other singles from the album. I mean, there's 18 songs on this album, I think I mentioned before.
Yes.
And at least 10 of them are like singles, for me anyway. So, until it gets boring,
I'll just keep releasing them.
There's definitely another 5 singles or 4 singles to come off the album, of the Electric Erotic album. We're only on number 3 with Every Life Matters coming up. So we've got a few more. So I'm not disappearing anytime soon.
Thank God for that. Because we love you here, man.
Thank you.
So whenever you release the next one and you come down and you're coming from Boston to Florida, you got to let us know so we can hang out in Philly again, man.
I know. I'm doing actually a couple of dates in Philly, so I'll definitely let you guys know and let your audience know where they can come down and see me. And and come down and when I do a show, I try to make it as personal as possible. I like to have fun. I like to really engage and meet my audience and fans. And that's very, very important to me. Is that contact.
Absolutely. Just to let our listeners know, when we did when we went to the Adamant Glam Skanks concert a few weeks ago to interview the Glam Skanks, Aaron was there. We got a great chance to meet him and hang out with him. He was sitting in front of us the whole time, and we were outside with the Glam Skanks talking, and one of the funny parts of it was when somebody, was talking about, who's these famous people? And I screamed out, "It's Aaron Paul! He's famous!" And Jimmy Starr, Jimmy Starr turned around. He hosts a very prominent, video interview show here out of Philadelphia, and he looked at you and he asked you, "Who are those guys? They know you?" And you were like, "Yeah, I know them."
When we were coming into the venue at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, so we had some good times that night at the Keswick Theater. We had fun.
Jimmy's a huge boy band fan. I mean, he's one of the biggest boy band fans. He knows every boy band there is in history. So, obviously he knows Worlds Apart, but that's how me and Jimmy became acquainted, and him and Ron Russell, who are hosts on that show, are both fabulous, great guys, and they've become part of my family. And suddenly I do a lot of work in Philly as well, a lot of stuff. A lot of my big core audience is actually in your area. Wow.
Very nice. I'm shocked, with you, living in New York City. I'm shocked you're not, Philly's like one of your biggest areas.
Yes, there's a couple of major radio networks down there, internet radio, and especially in the LGBT community. And they really, play my music a lot. I think beginning of January, I actually won the Best New Artist for the, about like 20 artists. I was picked as number one. And that's just in the Philly area. Wow, very nice. Yeah.
Well, that's good to know, man. Hopefully, like I said, when you're here, you got to let us know so we can come hang out again. Absolutely. And we can bring you back so our listeners can hear you.
When you're in New York, too, definitely look me up. And, thank you for your audience as well. And we've been trying to schedule this for a couple of weeks, and we've got a few. And we've finally done it. So
yeah, we finally have done it. So, this is going to be the second part. So our interview not only spanned over, I think, about a month and a half now, since we had 2 technical difficulties, and then we couldn't get it finished out in Glenside, Pennsylvania. So now it became a 2-parter, which, very nice. That's a first here. So you're a part of history.
Oh, really? Wow, look at that.
There you go. Well, Aaron, stay on the line with us. We're gonna end the interview. Just want to thank all of our listeners for tuning in. And Aaron, where can they find out more about you?
You can find me on my website at aaronpaul.dance, not .com, .dance, aaronpaul.dance. You can find me on my Instagram at aaronpaulmusic, and my Twitter at apaulmusic. So everywhere, all social media, I'm there. And thank you.
And remember, it's the pop star Aaron Paul. It's not the actor Aaron Paul you're looking for.
Or you try to search for me, put Aaron Paul pop star, Aaron Paul music, and I will pop up.
There you go. There you go. All right. So thank you, Aaron, and thank you to our listeners tuning in. And if you want to listen to this interview later on, anybody, you can check it out at stoopradio.com. So, Aaron, stay on the line with us.
Absolutely.
And want to thank everybody else. Thank you once again, Aaron.
Thank you.